Listen, alcohol is just out in 2024. There is a rising trend of going alcohol-free or being sober curious, and alcohol, the truth is, it's just bad for you and can famously impair your sex life. So if you're looking for another way to unwind, relax, or just have fun, I cannot recommend Via's THC gummies enough. Via has gummies for every occasion. Whether it's to improve your sleep, I love their sleep gummies. I take them everywhere. Your mood or your focus. They even have an aphrodisiac gummy called High Love to boost my arousal levels. High Love has a unique blend of cannabinoids and aphrodisiac exotic herbs that are known for their libido enhancing effects. So I've been using Via for a while now, and I absolutely love them. They're a super trusted company. They use premium hemp, natural ingredients, and they're known for their premium indoor THCA flower. All their products are made here in the US. They got quick and discreet shipping to all 50 states, so you can all enjoy them, not to worry. And also super affordable. So head over to viahemp.com and use code Emily at checkout to save 15% off your order. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Use code Emily at checkout for 15% off your order and let me know what you think. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Okay, you know I'm always saying how important it is to mix things up in the bedroom. Well, Hustler Hollywood stores should be your main destination for the best toys, erotica, the sexiest lingerie, and most of all, the easiest way to find the answers you've been looking for on how to enhance your sex life. Because I'm always saying spice it up, talk to your partner, and people are like, we can't talk about this. So just go to a store, have a date night, check it out. There is everything in this store that could fulfill your fantasies. There is one in Hollywood. There are 12 stores around the country. You got to check them out. And it's unlike other adult novelty stores. They turn shopping for sex toys into an enjoyable and enlightening experience. I've been very enlightened there, I have to say. Each store is filled with attractive displays, and they have great staff, and they help you find the toys you want. And and if you're not sure where there is a Hustler store near you, you should visit hustlerhollywoodstores.com. Find your local Hustler Hollywood location. Here's the best part. They love my Sex with Emily listeners. So all you got to do to make your sex life better is they're offering a 20% discount if you mention Sex with Emily at checkout. In the words of Hustler, sex is free. We sell the accessories. So mention Sex with Emily, get 20% off all your sexy purchases. Happy shopping.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
The girl's got to have her standards. Oh, my.
The women know about shrinkage.
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Sign up for our mailing list, which you really should do because you'll get a free report, the 5 biggest mistakes men are making in bed, and the 5 biggest mistakes women are making in bed, which you kind of want to know. And we're going to have some more products coming your way as well. And there's a lot happening on our site, so check that out. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Sex with Emily. Today's show is all about anal sex. I know you've probably heard about, there's a lot of things going on, but what you didn't know is that August is Anal Pleasure Month, brought to you by Good Vibrations in San Francisco. They also are the same people that brought you Masturbation Month in May, so if you missed that, that'll come around again, but this is Anal Sex Month. And I'm here with Menace. Hey, Menace, how you doing?
How you doing? How is this?
I didn't warn you that today's show is about anal sex.
You didn't.
How is what?
You didn't. And how is it just not Anal Sex Month every day in San Francisco?
Yeah, that's true. In San Francisco, it is Anal Sex Month every month.
Yeah.
But now it's because, here's the thing, Menace. It's because people always ask me, and I was thinking about this before the show, and it's like, people always say, Emily, what are the trends in sex? What are the latest trends? And I always think about one of the top things that come to my mind is anal sex. And I even think that sometimes anal is the new blowjob. Now, this has been going on for a while, but I feel like it's it still has that taboo and that people are kind of obsessed with anal sex. I mean, look at Howard Stern, right? Every guest who comes on the show, did you ever try anal? Even on Loveline, they ask me, what about you and anal sex? People are obsessed with it. And so I thought, Good Vibrations is having Anal Pleasure Month just to celebrate. They have a lot of things on their site if you go to goodvibes.com. But also just like tips to enjoy it, why people are so obsessed with it, what are the right ways to do it. And I'm going to get into some of those tips today. So if you're curious about anal sex, I'm going to give you some gateways, how to get into it and to do it right. I'm also going to be reading your emails and all that stuff. So that's what's going on. Are you a fan of anal sex, Menace?
Am I what about anal sex? Sorry.
Are you a fan of anal sex?
Of course, I don't think there's any guys that are against it. It's
no,
usually
there
the
are.
women.
I've met. Well, exactly. So the women, I think that women really are sort of a lot of women, and I think that it's because. So I was asked recently by Cosmo Magazine why men love anal sex, and these are some of the things that I thought that I wrote, and I want to know what you agree with and what you don't agree with, because also I've actually been with men, several, who don't like it. They're like, it's not my thing. I tried it once and wasn't into it. So I don't know that every man likes it, but I think a lot of men are really into it. So I think that men like it because they see it as taboo, which can be thrilling and daring and very sexually exciting for men. So is it more that it feels good, Menace, or is it more like, oh, it's a taboo, it's her ass, I get to put my dick in her butt? What is it? Do you agree with that?
I guess it's just the taboo, and then you're like, oh, well, it's probably, a little bit tighter, so it feels better type of thing,
Right. Okay, so many men see anal sex as a gift from their female partner, something rare and special.
Oh, really? A gift?
Yeah, a gift. Like, it's a gift. Like, it's like, hey, she's going to give me her butt. Like, I have a friend who's married, and she's like, when I get married, she's been married for 5 years now. She hasn't done it yet, but she's like, then I'm going to have anal sex with my husband, and she's still afraid to do it.
Oh, see, she lied.
Some guys,
no, I
know
like
she
most
did
women,
lie. I'm like, just do
liars
it.
and cheaters.
No,
tricksters.
not true, Menace. It also demonstrates a sense of, no, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll get into more of these later. Let's just talk. What's going on, Menace? What's new with you in your life that I need to know?
I just got back from Chicago. Lovely weather in Chicago for Lollapalooza Music Festival. It sucks because Sex with Emily listeners always hit me up to hang out, and I'm at a festival with like 100,000 people, so I can't meet up with anybody. I don't, so.
Right, he's working. Or otherwise, he would totally hang out with you and talk about anal sex all day.
Yeah, but thank you, and I love the city. I love the Midwest. I love Midwest women. Chicago, all that area in between the coasts, basically, because I don't know. I see this time and time again. Beautiful women, just with normal looking guys, right? Just like
it gives you hope.
It does give me hope because like it seems on the coast, like either on the West Coast. I don't know how much on the East Coast, but definitely on the West Coast, Los Angeles, San Francisco. The application of being a man, just oh my god, on your resume. Okay, does he have a good job? Does he drive a nice car? Does he work out every single day? I don't see. And then a chick might hang out with you. I see in the middle of the country just normal hardworking guys, maybe like factory workers with like bombshell hot women. It's crazy.
I don't know about you.
But those women, if those women were in Los Angeles, San Francisco area, oh my god, they would expect men to buy them Chanel bags all freaking day long.
Yeah. Well, that's your interpretation of women on the West Coast and the East Coast, because I don't see that.
What do you mean? Come on, stop playing.
You date women. I'm not playing. You tend to date women who want you to buy them Chanel bags. I swear.
No.
I've never asked a guy to buy me a bag, although when he does buy me a bag, I'm really appreciative.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask for it. But I know what you're saying. The Midwestern, I'm from the Midwest, so if anyone gets offended, whatever we're saying, like I feel like there are good Midwestern values. Like we're good people. We're not so caught up in that stuff, perhaps.
It's not as bad as in San Francisco. I'm just kind of saying, but yeah, definitely Los Angeles. It's
oh my god,
insane.
Los Angeles, man. Los Angeles is a whole nother world. I mean, the men here are It's so much about like the arm candy and the older guy with the younger women. I mean, you don't see that in San Francisco as much. Like here, it's like they're all aspiring to be, actresses or whatever. I mean, it's like the cliche that everyone says about LA, but now that I've been living here, I see it all the time.
Well, the epidemic in San Francisco is the sevens think they're tens with women.
I told you that. I came up with that phrase.
There's
The
so
sevens
many-
think they're tens.
Well, yeah, I guess you told me that, but it's not just you. A lot of people say it. The sevens think they're tens. It's crazy.
Right.
Because this is what happens in our area in San Francisco. I know there's a whole other country and people that listen around the world. Maybe you can relate to this. In San Francisco, I got to think of all the attractive women that I went to high school with. They all left the area and they went to Southern California or somewhere else, right? And all the weird and outcast chicks stayed here and they went to Berkeley or San Francisco State, or they were kind of nerds, so they went to Stanford and all this stuff. The most attractive women that I went to school with did not stay here, and it seems like there's a bazillion attractive women in Southern California. And it seems like they stayed there and all the outcasts and, the nerds, and believe me, I'm friends with outcasts and nerds. I like those type of people. And it seems like they all came from Southern California and they came up here. But the thing is, that's the pool of people that we have to date here. So the women that are maybe a 7 think they're 10s because guys, they're like, well, this is all we have to choose from around here,
Well, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of beautiful women and smart women and cool women that do move to San Francisco. I just think that you come to Los Angeles and you're like, oh my God, every single woman here is hot, from like the waitress to the dry cleaner to the person washing my car to the person making copies at the at the copy store, whatever. Like everyone's hot.
Yeah,
it's true. But I also think what they say about LA. But I don't think that there are unattractive women in San Francisco.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to say about the rest of the country is there's beautiful women way hotter than in Northern California that just don't know that they're hot and they just don't act like it. They don't have a chip on their shoulder like, oh my God, I need to take selfie pictures all freaking day and post it on Instagram and get
because people move here. I think what you're saying is, and what it's known is that every girl, they say, this is what my friends in LA say, all my producer, director friends, whatever, that like the hottest chick in every high school class in America, like the top 5 hot chicks or the top 2 hot chicks from every high school, think of all the small towns in America or in the world really, but let's just talk about America for the sake of the story. And they all move to LA because they all think they can make it, because everyone's like, wow, you're working at Costco, but you should really be an actress. You're so pretty, whatever. And then they move out here and then they're all trying to make it, right?
Yeah.
And some people make it and some people don't. It's tough. That's why I got into radio, because my looks don't really matter, right?
Of course.
Of course not. I mean, I did a little dabble here and there on television, but you know what I'm saying. But it is true. So how is your dating life? Are you going to share one thing with me that I didn't know before?
That you didn't know before?
She doesn't listen. Yeah, I know nothing. So that would be good for you to tell me one thing.
I mean, nothing. I don't have a wild and crazy drama-filled relationship. I'm not like you, and I go up in a cabin with a bunch of people and my exes are hanging around or anything like that. I
know my exes do hang around, but not here.
But that makes, your life that you should share more, because the Sex with Emily show is way more interesting than my dating life.
It's true.
It's because you put yourself in situations and you feel, or at least you tell me that it doesn't matter that you go with a current boyfriend to an ex-boyfriend's cabin and you're all hanging out together. Like, you tell that to an average person out there, they would think, oh my God, that's drama filled and that's pretty freaking interesting.
I think It's not right. I think it's really healthy for people to be friends with their exes. Like my ex is my ex from years ago. And so I happened to bring my last boyfriend with my current boyfriend. Not only did we go with my ex-boyfriend and my current boyfriend at the time, who is now my ex-boyfriend, but we all went, not only did we go to his cabin, but we all went to Mexico together.
Ridiculous.
But I'll have you know, and I don't think I shared this with you, Menace, is that when my ex, now they're both my exes. So how do I explain this? The ex-boyfriend who arranged the Mexico trip, and then my boyfriend at the time, we all went to Mexico, right? There was like 15 of us. And my ex's girlfriend was very jealous about me being on the trip. Like she didn't like that I was on the trip. So there was some ramifications. Even though I was there with my new hot boyfriend, she still was very threatened by my presence there. So it's not everyone is cool with it. Not everyone gets it. And I don't think that you can necessarily be friends with all your exes. However, we had the same group of friends and he knows me really well. And I think a lot of times if you can and we weren't friends right away. It's not like you break up with your ex. I'm not telling anyone if you break up with your ex the next day you'll be sitting around having coffee talking about who you're banging. But it takes a few months. Like I was really devastated when I broke up with the ex, and it took us a few months till we were friends again. And now it's been 6-7 years and we're really good friends. But yeah, that is a weird story. Here's another weird story. So I went to a dinner party the other night, right? Because I'm in LA and I don't know that many people. I was dating a guy for a while, which sort of took up a lot of time. And now I'm not dating him anymore. And I figured, you know what? I'm in my it's like when I was on Bravo Misadvised and I was like, say yes to everything. I'm just kind of saying yes to every invitation that I get. So some guy messages me on Facebook who I'm friends with. But what the hell is it with Facebook PS, by the way, that they always turn chat on now? Like whenever I go on Facebook, chat is on. I don't chat with people.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, anyway, so my chat keeps getting turned on. Maybe that's just my technical issue. So some guy chats me who I look at first I have to look at who he is, and I met him. I barely know him, but I met him at Sundance Film Festival years ago, and he looks like a nice guy. And I remember meeting him, and all of our mutual friends are people that I think are cool and normal. And he says, I'm having a dinner party next Friday night. Please come. Bring a girlfriend if you want. It's going to be 20, 25 people. I've got great views. Come to my party. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. Just say yes, right? It's 2 weeks away. I said yes. So I go to this party last weekend, and there was a lot of young women, in their 20s and 30s, and a lot of older men, maybe in their 50s and 60s, who were in the entertainment business, right? Like heads of studios and whatever. And the women were a little bimbo-ish, except for me. And then the men were all a little, older and established. I'm like, is this the LA dynamic? It wasn't all like that. And there were some really nice women. And it turned out that was my first impression. But I sat down, I talked to these guys, not in a romantic way, but they're all really interesting men. And they don't all work in entertainment, but they were all more established, right? And you could tell a lot of the women in their little dresses and whatever were trying to cozy up to them, which is the typical LA story. But there was this one guy, and I gave him my card because he was interested. It was we were having a work conversation, and I gave him my card, and he said, oh yeah, well, maybe we can, grab lunch sometime. And I said, great. So I wake up Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and there is a email from him. A long email. Wow, you were the highlight of my night. So nice to meet you. Then at 9 a.m., my phone rings and he calls me and I answer because I don't know the number. And I don't know why I answered because usually I don't answer on the number. I was like 9 a.m. Then he texted me. So I talked to him. He's like, let's go out. Then he texted me an hour later. So in a span of 12 hours of meeting this guy, he called me, he texted me, and he wrote me a long email.
Wow.
And then I didn't answer. And then he texted me again. So I was like, down, boy, down. This is no, I'm all for guys calling. I love when a man calls, but don't email and call and text and write and send smoke signals. And, God knows what else he was going to do. And it was so aggressive in my mind. I was like, whoa, relax. He really wants to lock down a date. And then the next day he texted me to lock down a date. And I'm not even interested in him. To me, I gave him my card as a business thing. So now I need to tell him that I'm not interested in him. Yeah. He was a perfectly nice guy until he deluged me with every single form of communication that he had at his disposal.
That's crazy.
Don't you think that's too much?
It's a little too much, yeah. This guy had some social problems.
But he was very successful and he's an older guy, whatever.
You were just explaining the demographics of your party. It's because women that are not in their 20s or 30s in Los Angeles are already married and divorced, and then they're dating exactly. Younger guys. So you need to get married and divorced soon. And then you can just like live off the divorce money and then date like,
I know. See,
young
that's what I should have done, but
young
I actually didn't do that yet.
young Latin studs like all
Okay.
the chicks from Orange County. Real Housewives of Orange
Yeah,
County.
that's not me. I know. I really regret not being married and divorced right now. But who would have known? Just kidding, peoples. But who would have known, like, if I married a rich guy or not? Like, but it would be nice to have some, alimony or child support. But I don't have that now, and it's okay. I'm making a nice living with Sex with Emily, sort of. Everyone, so here's the thing. So we're going to get into Anal Pleasure Month in a minute because we're going to give you some anal sex tips. But I also want to tell you about. I'm going to read some emails from the people first. So I'm going to get into that in a minute. And then I was going to tell you that this show, Anal Pleasure Month, is sponsored by Good Vibrations. So use coupon code GVEmily20 for 20% off orders of $100 or more, which is an amazing deal. And I'm going to give you some anal sex toys that you might like if you're into that kind of thing in a little bit. But if not, check out their Jeju line of vibrators. And a lot of people have been emailing me and they're like, what did you say? And it's Jeju, Jejoue. I love everything in their line. They're beautiful products. They work really well. They're really powerful. They're great to use with your partner. Some of them, they have an amazing rabbit vibrator. So many things. Check it out. Okay.
Here's a quick question though. What's
Emails.
going on with your love life?
Go.
Other than that.
Well, okay. So I am single again. I was dating this guy that I liked and it just didn't really work out. I think that getting sick was a really, like, if everyone listened to the podcast a few weeks ago, I was in the hospital and I got really sick, which is crazy because I never get sick, but it was sort of a wake-up call. Like, I always friggin' hate when people say everything happens for a reason in life and blah, blah, blah. Like when you're in like the depths of despair and they're like, it's all happening for a reason that someone broke into your car or that, whatever, your dog got, run over or whatever. But it really was a wake-up call for me to like look at clarity in my life and what matters and what's important. And I just felt like he wasn't the guy. That's what I gotta say. And as a result, since then, I am not dating anybody right now unless I go out with the guy who stalked me within a 12-hour period. But I'm not going to go out with him. But I do have an interesting online dating opportunity coming up. In a few months, I'm going to be doing some serious online dating. So I'll tell everyone about that. It's with one of our new sponsors, Menace. You're really going to like this. But right now, I'm just, I meet guys when I go out, but I'm just not, I'm more like reconnecting with friends and I don't know, nothing exciting, really. Gosh, that's so not interesting because I'm constantly like reading, doing the show, studying sex, all that stuff. So I'll keep you posted when someone new comes in the picture. But right now, actually, for me, Menace, as long as you know me, isn't there usually someone in the rotation?
Of course.
But there really isn't. Like, honestly, there isn't. And I think this is really healthy because I think people can relate to this. I used to be the kind of person that jumped from one relationship to the next. And it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't like, oh, I can't be alone. It was just like, I meet tons of guys. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. I broke up with this guy last night and I broke up with this guy. But now I'm just like, God, I really do want some breathing room. Like, I really don't need to be in a relationship right now. And I'd be happy just like hanging out with my friends or going out with a guy, but not getting really serious about anyone right now.
All right. Good.
And that's what I've always, all right. You approve with that?
Yeah.
You down with that? You've probably heard me say that before, but this is real this time. Like when I was on my manatorium and I didn't have sex with any guys for 6 months. That was the big one. But I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to read your emails from the people. This is email me feedback@sexwithemily.com. I love hearing from all of you. Okay, hi Emily. I've been married for 4 years this fall. My husband and I are completely in love and have a very caring relationship. Before we were engaged, I was unfaithful, but we stayed together and ended up getting married. When it comes to sex, we don't have it. We engage in flirting, and then when it gets close to getting intimate, it usually ends up with me giving manual stimulation or oral for him. At this point, we only have sex 3 to 4 times a year. We have talked about it, and he says we need to be closer emotionally before we become more intimate. I am wondering if this is from the infidelity and how do we ever get to the next step? He won't go to counseling, so I am stuck. Help. Thanks, Eden. Okay, Eden, I don't know what it is. You've been together for 4 years. It is true that a lot of times when couples stop having sex, it has to do, one of the biggest, there's like 3 main things. But A lot of it is people say they don't have time, they have kids, and another thing is underlying issues. Like maybe he still really is upset with the infidelity. I don't know what happened, but he needs to go to counseling. I do not approve of if your partner says to you, we need to go to counseling, you need to go to counseling. I don't know what everyone is so afraid of about going to counseling, because it is the miracle cure for relationships. Either it will get everything clear, because think about it. You're in a relationship. Eden, you've been with your partner for 4 years. You've been trying to have this conversation. You're trying to improve your sex life, and it's not budging. So, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. Sometimes you need to bring in a third party and a counselor that's going to help you. And if you can't afford it, there's always sliding scales. There's always like community services, but you guys need to go. It's imperative. Couples cannot get past things on their own. And it's true when a man or a woman feels emotionally distant from their partner, they can't connect sexually. And it's been 4 years. So that's a really long time. And the more time that goes by day by day by day, it's just going to get worse and worse. So he says he wants you more closer emotionally. It sounds like you're not able to bring you guys there, so you do need therapy. And it might be from the infidelity. He might not trust you. He might have his own insecurities. I don't really know what it was. And I love that you were completely in love before, so maybe you can get back to that stage. But better that you go to therapy and figure it out now. So that's what I think about that. I mean, don't you think, Menace, have you been in a relationship where like you're having not that you have emotional issues because you're always so happy, but no, like when something goes wrong or you're fighting, like it's just hard to connect sexually sometimes when you have issues.
Yeah, when I'm upset with somebody, I don't want to have sex with them. Most guys like, whatever. The more I get nagged or I have issues with somebody, the less I want to have sex with them.
Exactly. So that just happens. Like emotionally, you get shut down. So I would say counseling would be your first step. You've been trying to do it for 4 years. We all try to solve things on our own, and sometimes you just need to help. That's what I got to say about that. Okay. Dear Emily, first off, love the podcast. I've been listening to it for a few months now and really enjoy it. I've greatly benefited from it as well. I have a problem though. I met a woman online about a week ago. Things seemed to go well, so we exchanged numbers. Then about a day or so later, decided to go on a date. Last Sunday, we decided to hang out at a bar and have a few drinks, maybe play some pool, and, wait, I didn't read this. Okay. Last Sunday, we decided to hang out, have a few drinks, maybe play some pool, and get to know each other. It seems like things were going great. We were both engaged in the conversation. We were flirty and never really seemed to have any awkward silences, which can sometimes be an issue on first dates. We left there. On the way back to my house, I asked her if she wanted to chill and maybe watch some TV, and she said, I guess so, but I have to be up early for work. For some reason, once we went inside my house, it became extremely awkward for 45 minutes, and then I decided we should end the date. I gave her a hug, she left. I even sent her a text asking if she was okay because she seemed uncomfortable. She replied, yes, I am sorry I got awkward. I really don't get it. I sent her a message earlier and have yet to receive response. What should I do? I really clicked with her and I want to see her again, but I don't want to seem needy. Thanks, Matt. Okay, Matt, are you sure that it was awkward? I want to know why you think it was awkward. She could have been nervous for being at your house the first time, but I need to know more details. And if you haven't heard from her, it probably means that you need to move on and she's just not that into you. If you texted her already twice and you haven't heard back, maybe she just got uncomfortable. However, I know a lot of women who get uncomfortable. Like maybe she was thinking there was an expectation for you guys to like kiss or whatever, and she wasn't ready for that yet. So wait and see if you hear back from her. And if you don't, you got to date other people. What do you think, Menace?
I totally agree. You should reach out to her at least once, and if she's not responding, then just move on.
Yeah, people, when women don't respond or men don't respond, you could define it a million different ways, but it's hilarious. That book, He's Just Not That Into You, or She's Just Not That Into You, is so true. Like, they didn't get run over by a car. They're not in the hospital. They're not sick. They don't have to work late. Like, we all know that in this day and age, if you want to get in touch with someone, you send a text. It's really easy. So, just, people got to move on quicker. Okay, dear Emily, I've been seeing a guy 11 years older than I am. He's 33, I'm 22. He has a nice sized penis. I like him a lot. And that's awesome. And the sex is great. The only problem is I've only orgasmed from my clitoris. I've tried to find my G-spot, and even though we almost came close to me having a G-spot orgasm, it didn't work. He asked me the other day if I enjoy our sex life because I never get off when we have sex. How can I find my G-spot? Please help. Thanks, Abby. Okay, Abby, so here's the deal. So you said that you have clitoral orgasms. Do you have them during intercourse as well? I know you want to find your G spot. And the thing is, 75% of women require clitoral stimulation to orgasm during sex. So that's really common. You can also bring in a vibrator. Again, I love the Jeju Mimi, Mimi, which you could get at Good Vibes. So if you're interested in G-spot stimulation during sex, I always say doggy style is a great position to explore, but also you really need to explore your G-spot on your own. So, or he can use his fingers. So sometimes the best way for a couple to get the woman to experience her G-spot is to first have him use his hands, like to stick his fingers, like one of his fingers, like in a come hither motion, like up the 2/3 wall of the vagina, and then there you can feel the G spot. I'm sure you probably know this, but it's the G spot is that little. It feels like a round little, like a raspberry pit or something, or like it feels like a peach pit, but it's a lot smaller. And sometimes you need pressure on it, so you just need to play around with what feels good for you. Use lots of lube, use his fingers, spend a day in bed looking for your G spot, and then when you have intercourse with him, it'll be easier to guide his penis so it's hitting your G spot. But don't be all bummed out about it. At least you're having orgasms. And you said that it almost worked the other day, so I would say, don't worry about it. It's coming, no pun intended, but spend some time without his penis in your vagina trying to figure it out. That's what I got to say about that. So let's move into our anal sex month, unless you have anything to say about G-spot stimulation.
No, it just is a difficult thing to do, so don't get frustrated if you can't do it.
It is, right? Don't you think, like, do you feel that most women, you probably don't know exactly, but like, do you guys ever talk about it? The G-spot, clitoris, you're just happy they had an orgasm, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, that's good.
most
Well, we're
men.
happy that all your... Okay, so what'd you say?
Like most men.
Most men, I know. Okay, so it's anal sex month. Okay, so anal sex month, what does that mean? Okay, so I think that, I was saying earlier that I think it is sort of a trendy thing. Not trendy like as in the last 6 months, but probably in the last 10 years. Like, I don't feel like people talked about anal sex that much. That's why I always say anal is the new blowjob. A lot of people wait till they're married to give it, or men are fascinated by it. And I started to read some reasons. I'm going to get into some tips for it. But men, I think that it demonstrates, some men think that if he has anal sex with a woman, that it demonstrates a sense of love and trust from his female partner, that she's willing to give all of herself to him. True or false, Menace?
True.
Okay. Here's another one. Many men just love the female behind and want to be close to it, really close to it. True or false?
True.
Okay, next one. It simply feels really good to many men. True.
True.
Okay, and it's uncharted territory, going back to the whole taboo thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, guys, get off that. It's taboo, though. It just seems like the term that you're using is, I don't know. It's like what chicks use to describe things. I don't see a guy really tripping off it because it's taboo.
Right. But
Yeah.
it is sort of something different. He's so used to the vagina, and now he's like, wow, there's something kind of different, and it's like it's forbidden, and not every woman does it.
Yeah.
But maybe not. So here's a quote from Carol Queen, who's a sex educator expert. We love Carol Queen. She says, while anal pleasure is widely enjoyed, it's still considered taboo. So access to clear and accurate information about it is sadly limited. That's why Good Vibrations declared August to be Anal Pleasure Month, a way to illuminate the subject and make information available to interested adults. So it's fun and it's fascinating. So, okay, so here's the thing. Anal sex, here's some tips, should be pleasurable and not painful. A lot of people, women in particular, are kind of freaked out. And we're not talking about gay sex here too, but gay sex, gay men obviously experience, these are a lot of tips that they can use as well. A little knowledge about anal sex, which is what we're trying to do here, makes a lot of difference. There's also anal toys for beginners and experienced players. So some of the anal toys that you might have heard about are like butt plugs. Have you heard of a butt plug, Menace?
Yes, I have.
So they're designed basically to be inserted and held in place by the anal muscles. So they're not like an in and out, like a slim little dildo that you can use. And many people use butt plugs. I'm sorry, I'm explaining this because I get asked all the time about butt plugs. many people enjoy the sensation of fullness, especially when they're doing other activities like oral sex or intercourse. They like to have a butt plug in them. It just feels really good. And also, during orgasm, the anal muscles contract along with the vaginal muscles and penis, so butt plugs can intensify the entire experience. As far as other products, if you're a man and you want to experience some things, there's the anal sex for men. It does not mean that you're gay. A lot of men like their prostate stimulated. It's called the male G-spot. So Max for Men, which we love, one of our sponsors, you can check them out. Max G Stimulating Prostate Gel if you're just starting to explore the male G-spot. If you want to try any of their products, maxformen.com. That's Max the number 4 and use coupon code Emily25. They've got amazing products for men, and it just might help you explore the prostate. And there are a lot of men who don't even realize it, and they think, oh, it's going to make me gay. But I'm telling you, there are a lot of men who like a finger in their butt or a little vibrator. The vibration feels really good, and it can give you an incredible orgasm. I've seen it happen, and it exists, and you're not gay. Okay, here's some tips for anal sex.
Okay.
The first tip is relaxation. The most important, okay, first of all, the 3 most important ingredients to anal sex play is relaxation, lubrication, and communication. Okay? So first, you got to relax. Everyone's got to chill the F out. It's made of 2 separate muscles, the anus, that are about a quarter inch apart. The more you relaxed you are, the more relaxed the muscles will be. If you have stress and anxiety and you're worried that's going to hurt, and what if I, have to go to the bathroom, it can make your anus tighten. And that makes it less pleasurable and possibly painful. So first, I always say, if you're starting with anal sex, start with a finger and start with lots and lots of lubricant. Like, you want to be lubed because like the vagina lubricates itself, the anus does not. So if you start getting turned on, doing other things, that your anus might relax because you're already feeling turned on. So you can also try, inserting, like I said, a finger or a toy. Vibrations are great. A little vibration. Start off with something slim, though, like a slim little toy, and don't force or rush it. These are for first-time anal players. They often need to get used to these feelings, so go slow, okay? Slow, slow, slow. The slower, the better. And anytime you want to chime in, Menace, I'm assuming you've had anal sex.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Okay, so lubrication. Unlike the vagina, doesn't produce lubrication. So everyone needs lube. Even if you're only playing externally, the lube will enhance your experience. And by the way, lube enhances all experiences. I have a lubricant line coming out. Go to emilyandtony.com. Put in your email address. I made the most killer lubricant that I'm going to be giving away samples in 2 weeks. It's coming out, so check it out. But generally, for anal sex, thicker lubricants work better since they create more cushioning service to protect the sensitive issues. Water-based lubricants, which is what most people use, they're a slippery texture, but they tend to dry out, and you definitely need a lot of lube. So if you use a silicone lube, they never dry out, but they're harder to get off because they're waterproof. So just figure out what you want and what feels good to you, but you always want to use a condom. There are many diseases, there are things you can catch during anal sex, and I know it might be a bummer, and people don't love condoms, but you got to use a condom during anal sex with the lube on top of it. Agree? Do you use lube, Menace?
Lube in anal sex? I mean, you kind of have to.
You have to, but do you use lube in general?
Lube in general, no.
Okay. I know. I'm going to send you all my lube. And when my Emily
Why
and
you
Tony
want everything?
okay.
Why? I know women love lube, and sometimes, yeah, you do need it, but like, why do you want it like flopping all over the place with lube?
Right.
No,
I know,
honestly,
but sometimes you can do.
Why you want to be like?
You think it flops all over?
I think like
because it feels
you're
good.
All slippery all over the place. Why don't you keep? Guys want to keep stuff nice and tight. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but don't use too much lube. Don't pour half a bottle down her vagina, but sometimes it just helps if she's lubricated and then she goes away. You know, sometimes you have sex and she's really wet at first and then she's not wet. There's nothing wrong with like whipping out some lube. It feels really good. I feel like it always feels better. And I get wet. I'm wet, but sometimes I just like a little extra lube. And sometimes it's good for like if you're fingering your partner or whatever, you can put it all over her body. Lube's awesome. So the next thing is communication. Talk to your partner about anal play. Make sure you're both enjoying it. Are they comfortable? What sensations feel good to you? So people who are like new to anal play, they might not know. They might not be able to say, well, I like it when you stick it in this way because they've never tried it. So just try different options and see what feels better to you. So you can try a bunch of different things. Like I said, there's butt plugs, there's slim little vibrators that work, and you'd really like, you might benefit from that before going straight ahead with your penis. So choosing an anal toy. They're a great way to explore, like I said, different sensations. Start out with something slimmer. There's glass toys, there's dildos, there's butt plugs. You can check them all out at goodvibes.com. Safety tips. Okay, you've got to be clean. It's more of a concern for anal play than other types of sex. Make sure that any toys are cleaned and covered with a condom. So even if you're sticking a toy in your partner's butt, you got to cover it with a condom. You can disinfect them afterwards, but be sure that you use a condom and use clean. Make sure that they're clean. Even calluses and like fingernails, like, I hate this. Like when guys have weird fingernail hang things, like they have hangnails. You got to make sure that your hands are not too rough and there's calluses and all that, because that could really hurt.
Yeah.
So that's another tip. So anal sex, this is another tip. It can be enjoyed even if it's been consistently uncomfortable in the past. So a lot of people have like one really bad anal experience and they're like, oh my God, I can never do it again. And so chronic anal tension is the most common cause of anal discomfort during sex. So tension can be relieved if you touch the anus and you become more familiar with it. So a lot of people, if you masturbate, which you probably do, you can start playing around with your anus by yourself. You can stick a finger in there, you can stick a toy in there, or you're taking a shower or bath, just see how it feels. Like start exploring it again, because you might have had like post-traumatic anal sex disorder. If you had someone who just tried to shove their penis inside you and you're like, no, I never want to do it, try exploring it on your own and see how it feels. You can also breathe really deep. That affects the anal muscles. You can tense them and then relax the anal muscles. It's another way of letting go. So that is a really good tip, breath and relaxation. And also, anal stimulation provides so many kinds of pleasure. They're the highest concentration of the nerve endings are around the anal opening itself, which is why sticking a finger in can be really effective. And there's also other pleasures involved when the penis is inserted beyond the anal opening, but we will get to that in a minute. But that's the most sensitive part. Yeah. And also, people always want to know, Menace, they always want to know, can anal sex lead to orgasm or anal stimulation? And there is a minority of people that respond orgasmically to anal sex without direct genital stimulation. So orgasms from anal stimulation, they think occurs mostly when the people it gets like absorbed through their sensations or their fantasies, or they're really thinking about it a lot in their head and they're having these fantasies, and you can have an orgasm that way. Also, if you're touching your genitalia and something's in your anus, that can also cause an orgasm. So those are some of my tips. And another thing is, it can be safe and beneficial, even if it's taboo and all that stuff. That there's risks of sexually transmitted diseases. There are many people with chronic with problems like anal medical problems that have restored their anal health by challenging their negative attitudes, and they've learned to love their anus and love having their anus penetrated. So that's what we got for you for Anal Pleasure Month. And I hope everyone explores their anus. And you know what? If you don't have anal sex, next time you're masturbating, just use a little lube and stick your finger in there and see how it feels. That's all you got to do. I'm just asking you to do that. I'm not asking everyone to have anal sex. I'm not even saying you should ever do it. I'm just saying play around with it, because, as I often say, our bodies have so many erogenous zones that we don't even know about. And life is too short not to explore them. Just do it today. Do something different with your sex life this week.
Something a little bit different. Not the norm.
Do something different, Menace. I think you should have some anal sex this week if you haven't already.
Okay.
Okay, how's that?
Sounds good.
Anything else?
Download Stitcher to listen to this show. That's always a good thing. Or are we wrapping up? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just like,
no, I feel like know. Unless you do. Do you have any more anal?
Well, just the thing is, just don't force it. Bring it up that you want to do it, but don't like try to force it on somebody, because when you try to force it on somebody, then it's never gonna happen.
Exactly.
Bring it up.
Exactly.
Maybe have a couple drinks. Oh, bring it up again. Oh, wouldn't that be funny? And then just take your time with it. Don't just try to shove it in there. 'Cause
Don't shove it
then
in
you're
there.
never gonna
Make
get
sure
another
she's
chance
prepared.
again. Yeah.
Make sure she's relaxed. A lot of times it works if she's laying on her side, like in the spooning position. And a men can kind of work it in that way. But that's a great point, Menace. Like guys are just like, I'm just going to stick it in. We're really drunk and I'm just going to F you from behind and your anus. Like that is a way to get a woman running for the hills. Like you really want to like, again, start with a finger. Start slowly. Just even when you're having sex and you're like, I wonder if she'd be into this or not. You can just like stick a finger in there or start like rubbing the rim of her anus and seeing if she pulls your hand away. Now, even if she pulls your hand away, it doesn't mean that she might not ever want anal sex. It just means maybe it's new to her and she needs to warm up to it. So I feel like, again, like the less aggressive you are as a man trying to have anal sex with a woman, the more chances you are likely to find a woman who actually wants to have it. Right?
Of course.
Of course. And like use lube and communicate and all that crap. It's all really important. All that stuff. It's all really important. And I just think that it just comes up all the time. And I want to help people have better anal sex, especially during the month of August.
You know, everyone wants to do it.
And that's what I got.
Everyone wants to do
does.
it, even if they say they don't want to. They're
Not
they're
everyone
curious.
does. I mean, there's some guys, but I always wonder, there are men that I've dated in recent time that are like, nope, never had it, not into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is. You'd think they would want to have it once. But
Yeah.
some guys just don't, because that's what makes the world go round, right? Not everyone loves anal sex and not everyone whatever.
No.
So I just want people to try new things and have really great sex. That's what Sex with Emily is all about.
I like it.
You like it, Menace?
Yeah.
I miss you, darling. It's so good to talk
I
to
know.
you.
I want to get back to Los Angeles, and we got to do a show together in LA.
When you come in?
Man, that I'm available. I don't know yet.
Okay,
I just
we'll
come in
talk
town
about
for a couple hours. That's always.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Menace.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Thanks so much for listening to Sex with Emily. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com. I've got to tell you about the Fleshlight. So Fleshlight is a male masturbation sleeve, and you might be thinking, I've got my hand. Why do I need it? But this masturbation sleeve feels amazing. From every single guy from the show who's listened and bought it, friends I've given it to, it simulates the feeling of actually having sex. And it's tight around your penis. What were you going to say, Menace? You want one now, finally?
No, I was talking about, aren't they based out of Nashville, right?
They're in Texas.
Oh, in Texas. Okay.
I'm actually going to go watch them. There's going to be some porn stars, and their vagina will be molded. They have to stand there, and I'm going to go witness that and do a video.
I was telling my coworkers that you invited me to take the tour, and they said that I should do it.
You should. It's in Austin, too. It's a good time. We're going to go. So the thing is that they have all these different patterns. If you like a particular porn star, you could buy one that way. You could also buy the Fleshlight Stamina Training Unit if you want to last longer in bed. They're all different ridges and feeling. Like it's just like having sex. It feels like you're having sex with like a bunch of different people if you buy a bunch of different Fleshlights.
I saw one that looked like Yoda or something like that.
Is that the one that you want? When's your birthday?
Yeah,
October. I'll get you.
Feels good, it does.
I want the Yoda one.
So it's funny because, the Fleshlight, you have amazing orgasms, and literally it's like, I know you use your hand, I know you might have sex, but it's just a great thing we have vibrators, so guys might as well try something different. You add some lube to it. It's sex in a can. Could be even better than sex. I know that it's really easy to clean, all that stuff. Check it out, though, you guys. Go to sexwithemily.com, click on the Fleshlight banner, use coupon code Emily, and you get a free bottle of their award-winning Flesh Lube. Thanks so much for listening. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.